So last month, we talked about the Hasbro Investor Day panel. Hasbro did this gigantic panel talking about all their different brands and talking to investors and licensors and just getting people ready and up to date for the future and what they have planned for 2023. It was a bit of a reflection on what was happening with their Q3 earnings reports, and that was that. One big thing about it, though, was when they started talking about licensing for Transformers and going into Rise of the Beast into 2023, they showed this image on the screen. It was a slide in the panel of a licensing docket, a licensing display that would be used for different licensors. And this is a licensing display that would be used for t-shirt companies, water bottles, paper plates, backpacks, pencils, anything that would have the Transformers Rise of the Beast logo on it, or the control art, or the characters, and to give people an idea of how it's going to look in the retail environment, to let the investors know, hey, when this movie comes out, it's not just going to be in the toy aisle. It's going to be in the end caps. It's going to be in the sub-aisles themselves, in the alleyways of the aisles. They could be far away from the toy aisle in the clothing section. So just to have, again, a presence of their character and IP all over, let's say, a Walmart or a Target. Now, this display here, when we saw it, was very low quality. We were barely able to make out anything at the time outside of a red and blue robot, which we knew was Optimus Prime. Later on in that investor panel, they would show a HD image of that red and blue robot of Optimus Prime. So at least we got that kind of control art of the front of that display of Optimus Prime, and it gave us, as they claimed, our first look at Rise of the Beast Optimus Prime, and that was that. So now we have a much better image of this display. It's not like super HD crazy, we could zoom in and get every fine detail, but it's significantly better than what we had before of a blurry slide from very far away that you couldn't even zoom in. So we're going to go through that painstakingly. We're going to kind of like just break down every little thing here and try to make sense of what's on display. And it's just be a nice little fun discussion with the hindsight and the stuff that we know today that we didn't know, let's say, in early October last month when we were talking about this stuff. So I'm going to start from right to left of the characters, just because it starts with a really interesting one and probably is the most clear when we zoom in. It's still going to be pixelated. Don't get me wrong. But at least it's going to be fun to kind of like get an idea of what's going on here. So the first one we're going to cover, all the way on the right there, is clearly a Transformers Rise of the Beast Arcee. You could see that she has her traditional Generation 1 head design and her shoulder pylons. I like that they're maintaining that. That was something that we had in the Rise of the Beasts movie, recently also with her Studio Series toy. And if she could somehow maintain that design, and you could kind of already see it a little bit when you look at her alt mode, which we saw in that Autobot group image with the director, Stephen Caple Jr. So hopefully that's all maintained and she looks fantastic. Again, it's hard to, extrapolate what we got going on here, but it does look nice. It does look nice. It looks like they maintain that, at least in her case. When you go after that, then to the left, we have Mirage. Again, it's kind of blurry, but it looks like it has his traditional Generation 1 head, that kind of half watermelon, Mirage head that he's always had. So that's pretty cool if they keep that. Again, I don't want to go, too crazy with the zooming and stuff, but it's like, I like that they're keeping that G1 loyal design. I think something was learned from the Bumblebee movie and that opening Cybertronian scene. And I think that there's going to be a strong emphasis on staying true and loyal to those designs. We already saw the little this and that of AirRaiser that we talked about just a couple of days ago, and how there's a loyalty to the original Beast Wars designs. We're going to talk about in a moment the guy in the center here who also is very loyal to his Beast Wars designs. So I think that that's one thing that people are going to be very happy about. Even if the movie isn't that entertaining or it's not well written or, the pace is bad, we can't deny that at least the designs will be enjoyable. At least design-wise, everything is starting to look really good. So again, Mirage, hey, looks like so far maybe that head sculpt's going to be spot on. To the left of Mirage is Optimus. It uses a different control art. It looks like it's the control art that's similar to what we've already seen on the Transformers Rise of the Beast binders. That was some licensing stuff that got out. So it looks like it could be related to that, or the shoes. There were some shoes that were out there too. That's a possibility. To the left of him, and it's the centerpiece of it, and again, the new guy, the leader of the Maximals. Let's talk about Optimus Primal. He's the centerpiece of this art. His fists are up and everything, gorilla style. So that's pretty cool that Primal's there. He's going to be the centerpiece of it. He's the only Maximal in this little display of the characters, but I guess he's going to represent that of this faction that we're going to be having in the movie that has, at least at the time, 3 other characters that we know of. To the left of him is then Bumblebee. Again, it's using that art that we've already seen online of Bumblebee. I believe it was a Russian website that first dropped that one. So again, some typical control art of Bumblebee there that's going to be used for t-shirts, mugs, and everything like that. And to the left of him, I want to assume just by process of elimination and how this is really just a good guy spread, that looks like it could be Wheeljack. You know, if you really, and again, this might be stretching, but if you really stare deeply at the pixels that I have here on the screen, that does look like a traditional Wheeljack head sculpt with the little fins on the side of the head. Maybe I could, pull out a little bit of that orangey brown from his Volkswagen van mode that's being shown here, but again, it's hard to tell. Very limited on the amount of, sharpness that we have on this image. And then when you look at the actual display itself, since stuff is a little more sharper, we could kind of see that there's like a t-shirt there that's orange that says Wild Ride. And I guess that's also the control art for Wheeljack there on that t-shirt. To the left of it, it's a pink robot, so I'm going to assume that it's Arcee on that blue t-shirt. Then we got some stuff that looks like it's using the control art from Optimus Prime that we've already seen. Some individual action figures, maybe model kits, t-shirts folded, water bottles, all kinds of stuff like that. So it gives us at least a better idea of what we're going to be expecting visually when it comes to the licensing stuff. But the real reason why we're talking about it is because we're able to kind of get our first blurry look at some of these characters as robot modes. Obviously absent from everything here, we don't see Rhinox. We don't see Air Razor, but Air Razor we've already got a sneak peek from her toy that leaked out recently. We don't see Cheetor, and we don't see any of our Terracons of Scourge, Nightbird, and Battletrap, but I'm pretty sure those guys probably will be showing up too at some point. Again, I feel like this month and next month, a lot more stuff is going to be pouring out. And dare I say just this month alone, I think a lot of the toy stuff is going to start falling into hands of certain individuals, and we're going to get our first looks of that kind of stuff. Maybe so, maybe not, but I mean, if I was Hasbro, I'd really start getting on, catching up with all of that kind of stuff and really trying to get everyone's attention. But that's it, more or less. Let me know what you think about all of this. We also have some McDonald's Malaysian potato head Transformers that recently started popping up. I don't want to report on it just yet until we get a little more information. We'll probably talk about it tomorrow on the Saturday Night live stream when I get some more images and some deeper info. But let me know what you think, guys, and we'll talk real soon.